How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about CEI Camber Energy. Many people have been asking me about this play. Did you see the pop when it went to $1? Yes, I did. And many are asking, what do you see happening going for this coming week, considering all of the geopolitical issues that are going on? So let's talk about it in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Camber Energy CEI. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at 68 cents, being down 7.90%. On the low, it tested 64 cents, and then on the high, testing 75 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 95.487 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 56.676 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, but we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 56.33. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day. We're also below the 50-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA. So it did have a run up recently, and these are part of the reasons why when you jump into these kind of plays and it sells off like this, don't be surprised. There's a lot of bag holders who are in this play, many people holding to their positions, and they were just dying to sell. So that's why when you have something like this occur, or when you're in penny stocks in general, you want to make sure you're using the right risk management. So as far as for the price action that we are seeing, there is a possibility it could make another move up. But I would say that it needs to hold support at least at the bare minimum at 66 cents. This will be essential. On the Friday, it ended up testing support at 64. If it falls even further and it goes even below the 21-day EMA, I would not touch this play with a 10-foot pole. But what becomes even more interesting, if it comes back down here to 50 cents and it decides to consolidate and stay in this area, it is not that bad whatsoever. You could still benefit from a next move up. But at where the current price is right now, there's a lot of risk, so I'd highly suggest using a stop loss. So even if it came down to the 21-day EMA and it just wanted to trade right at 60 cents and consolidate, that might be fine. But again, I would be very cautious about it. And make sure as far as the technicals are concerned, if you are jumping in with an entry, it's at an area where there is some support. Because at the end of the day, this stock can move up just as quick as it did previously, especially with the geopolitical issues that are going on right now. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for CEI. So green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. We have Simplex Trading LLC that purchased 102,508 shares. We also have FCG that purchased just over 4.5 million shares. We also have Virtu Financial LLC that purchased just under 199,000 shares. And we also have Flow Traders US LLC that purchased 16,678 shares. We see another closed positions, but we're just focusing on the most recent filings. And then when we take a look at our chart here to see how institutions have been loading up, look at that. That is crazy. So we're seeing a lot of institutions have loaded up in Camber as of late. So this is a good sign to see for all of my long-term investors looking for a return on their investment. When we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 53.59%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 33.92 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, short shares availability is at 2 million, updated 24 minutes ago. ratio. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 2.63%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we could see for the close of the 24th, it was at 54.69. And then for the close of the 25th, being at 53.59. So what this tells us right away, CEI does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for CEI. So we see on the inflow, it's at 15.64, and then on the outflow, it's at 16.56. So it was an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 2.17. On the medium, it was 9.11. And then on the small, it was 4.36. Also keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 2.95. On the medium, it was 9.58. And then on the small, it was 4.03. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for the Friday, we ended up having an outflow day of 0.78 million. And then also on the 24th, an outflow of 1.72 million. And when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 38.19%. No surprises why it's this high, because it is a volatile play. At the end of the day, it's a penny stock, and there's a lot of traders who are involved. There also is a good amount of people who are holding on to positions as well. I'll talk about it further inside of the final thoughts. Let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for CEI Camber Energy, you're definitely going to want to keep a close eye on this play. Part of the reasons being are the geopolitical issues that are going on between Ukraine and as well as Russia. And what this does, it has a big time impact when it comes to oil and energy plays. And that's part of the reasons why Camber witnessed a big spike. But do know this play does have a lot of bag holders that are in it. So you want to make sure, as far as for your strategy is concerned, you know what your entry is going to be, and as well as your exit, and making sure you have a tight stop loss. I'd love to see support actually hold up at around 66 cents. Breaking down below 66 cents, like I said, aside the technicals, I wouldn't touch this stock with a 10-foot pole. But if it did come down to around 50 cents where there's a good amount of support, then I would be thinking about it, but I would still continue to have a stop loss. But the key thing is to hold up 66 cents, and I'll even give you guys a little bit of leeway for it to hold up 65 cents. But the way things are looking, there's definitely a chance for it to pop back up again. And what I mean by this directly is the stock going back above $1. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see institutions have been loading up on shares as of late and accumulating. So that just shows there is some upside here, because we know institutions are not going to be pouring their money in plays if they don't see a potential return on their investment. And also, when we took a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. No surprises there. There is a lot of negative market sentiment around the stock, but the moment we have more buying volume coming in, especially keeping an eye on crude oil prices, then Camber can benefit from this, and that's where you could see it squeezing back up like it did not too long ago. So just be prepared if you're in this play, have your limit order set and so on, and if the stock starts seeing some crazy spikes, just know that Dre told you to protect your profits. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how this stock performs for the coming week. We'll talk soon.